Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you will enjoy this story. It is a very inspirational and true story. You must watch it until the end because you will not only enjoy it but you will also improve your English language skills. Let's start it. I was 7 years old. I was the only son of my parents. My father worked abroad. I studied in a good and expensive school in the city. My mother was not well educated, but she taught me through practical, hands-on lessons. When I went to school, my teacher would give me homework. I would come home and show it to my mother. She would watch my facial expression. She would watch my facial expressions to see if I was struggling. One day, my teacher gave me homework and told me to write it neat and clean. I came home, tired from school, and started writing. When I went to show my mother, she tore up all the pages I had written. I was confused and asked, "Why did you tear up my copy pages?" My mother replied, "You did not write neatly and cleanly, and you made a lot of mistakes in your sentences. You need to write it all over again." After a few minutes, I had rewritten the homework neatly. My mother praised me for my effort. The next day, when I went to school, my teacher checked my homework and wrote excellent. I was very happy and came home to tell my mother that I had gotten an excellent remark. My mother smiled and said, "You are intelligent, and I am so proud of you, my son." I then asked my mom a question. "Mom, I want to ask you something. Yesterday when I showed you my homework, how did you know I made a lot of mistakes? You did not even read all my sentences. You just looked at my copy for a few seconds and said I had made a lot of mistakes. How could you judge that so quickly?" My mother's eyes filled with love as she answered, "Son, I am your mother. I can see your heart, not just your words." My mother smiled and said, "Son, I know I am not well educated. I only studied until the 5th grade. In my time, that was enough because my parents were poor and could not afford our expenses, so I could not study more." I was impressed by her honesty and her wisdom. The next day at school, My teacher assigned a story and told me she would listen to him recite it tomorrow. I turned home and told my mother about the assignment. She told me to prepare his lesson and promised to listen to me after she finished cooking. A little while later, she came back and said, "Give me your book and let me listen to the lesson you prepared." As I started speaking, I noticed my mother was looking at my face, not at the book. After a moment, she said, "You did not prepare the lesson well. You need to practice more." I was shocked. My teacher always looked at the book when she listened to me. But my mother looked at me. I was amazed by her teaching skills. I began to study harder. And as the year passed, I grew into a young man. One day, I went to my mother's room and saw she was reciting the Holy Quran. I watched her for a long time as she recited. In that moment, I was shocked. Guys, I know you are curious about why I got shocked, and it's an interesting story. The next part of the video, part 2, will be inspirational. But first, it's important to know about my father. When you hear about my father, the story will be even more touching. Let's start it. My father was an engineer who worked abroad. One day he told me, when I was 18, we were very poor. I always wondered how I could make my family happy and escape poverty. One day, a man who worked abroad came to our house to visit my father. My father asked him to take me abroad, saying I was a hard worker. The man agreed and told my father to get my passport ready, as he had some construction visas available. I was excited to go abroad. When I arrived at Dubai airport, I was amazed. However, when I stepped out, I felt sad due to the scorching hot winds and towering buildings. I thought I would miss my country, and the heat was unbearable. I wondered how I would survive. But I finally reached my workplace, and after a long, exhausting first day, I went back to my shelter, took a bath, and cried. After crying, I made a decision. No matter what the situation, I would survive and make my family happy. I worked hard, faced challenges, and eventually achieved my goals. I am sharing my father's emotional story with you because I think it's really powerful. It's important to know about his experiences to understand the bigger picture. I hope you are enjoying it so far. And let's move on. Now that you have heard about my mother and father, I am excited to share the next part of the story with you. I think you will find it even more fascinating, and it's going to take our conversation to the next level. One day, I returned home from school and was eating my meal. Suddenly, I heard a knocking sound at the main gate. I went to open the door, and as soon as I opened it, my father was standing there with his belongings. I rubbed my eyes, wondering if I was dreaming. I rushed to my mother and exclaimed, "Father's here. He is standing by the gate with his bags." My mother was surprised and asked, "What are you talking about? He is abroad. How could he come back?" Meanwhile, my father entered the room and we were both shocked. My father smiled and said, "I wanted to give you a surprise. That's why I came without informing you." We were surprised when my father arrived after a long journey. He was tired, so he sat down to rest. In the evening, he opened his bag and pulled out my gifts, clothes, chocolates, and shoes. We all gathered around, and everyone chose their favorite gifts. My father gave each of us a present, and I was thrilled with the beautiful clothes and delicious chocolates. After a few days, we went to the park and had a meal at the hotel. It was a wonderful time. But soon, my father's holiday was about to end, and we were sad. Every year, he would come home, spend some time with us, and then leave again. I would get sad when he had to go back. When it was time to take him to the airport, I was crying because I loved him so much. After dropping him off, we came back home. I missed him terribly. I would call him every day, asking when he would come home again. He would say, "Soon." Days turned into years, and I grew up. But finally, after 1 year, my father came home permanently. He retired from his job. We were overjoyed to have him with us for good. I was 8 when my father came home permanently. He had some money and was thinking about what business to start. Some relatives suggested he should start a vegetables business, while others advised him to find a job in his own country. As the days passed, the money was being used up slowly. One day, a man came to my father and suggested he buy a public van, mentioning he had a chicken business and would give him trips. My father purchased the van and hired a driver. However, the driver would return home and claimed he did not earn enough to cover the van expenses. After a few days, my father went to the city to check on the van. He found out it was on a trip and asked other drivers about his van and driver. Everyone told him the van was going on trips daily and the driver was earning a lot. My father thought, why not start driving myself? He then began driving and realized he should have started earlier. My father would wake up early at 3 a.m., go on trips and struggle hard to make money. One day, my father was driving to the city when a bull accidentally collided with the van. The front side of the van was badly damaged and the bull was injured. Fortunately, my father was safe. However, he did not have enough money to repair the van. To fix it, he had to borrow money. I think the story has gotten a bit long, but the next part is amazing. I hope you enjoyed this true story and keep following along. The next part will be even more attractive and interesting. Stay tuned.